Alright, welcome back to the channel. I remain on research Kebuka Timothy. In our previous class, I showed how for all a, b, and r that the absolute value of a minus absolute value of b is less than or equal to absolute value of a plus b. But in today's lesson, what we're going to be talking about is to show for all a, b, and r that absolute value of a, absolute value of a minus absolute value of b is less or equal to absolute value of a minus b. Now, to show this is almost the same thing with question number 4 that I did here, but the only different thing is when it comes to this very place. Okay, let's take it step by step. So the first one, we know that a plus a black hole is equals to is going to give you a. I call it black hole, I don't, but just say a plus 0 is going to give you a, and you can 0 can be anything you want it to be. 0 can be equal to 1 minus 1, minus 1 plus 1, or anything you just want it to be. So what I want my own 0 here to be is 1 minus 1, and in that case it's going to be b minus b. So now I'm going to say that my a is equals to, with the absolute value of a is equals to absolute value of a plus b minus b, that is a plus 0. So now the absolute value of a here is less or equal to, according to the triangular rule of inequalities, it's now going to be less. Mind you that here we have equal to, here we have equal to, but here we have less or equal to. So let's be guided. So now I have that absolute value of a is equals to absolute value of a plus b minus b, which implies that absolute value of a is less than equal to or equal to absolute value of a minus b plus b. So now that implies that absolute value of a minus absolute value of b is now less or equal to absolute value of a minus b. And that is exactly the same thing we did in question number 4 here. So now look at where they differ here. When it comes to absolute value of b is a minus a plus b, correct? Yes. So now b, now absolute value of b is now less or equal to, here in this very one, in this question 4, I choose, look at what I choose here. I choose a plus b, but here, but in question 5, look at what I choose. In question 5, I choose my b. In question 5, I choose my b to be, in question 5, I said negative a plus b. So that is where they differ. So let's continue. So my b is equal to a minus a plus b, implies that b now is less or equal to absolute value of negative a plus b plus a. Now we continue. B, absolute value of b minus absolute value of a is now less or equal to absolute value of negative a plus b. Now this implies that absolute value of negative absolute value of a plus b is less or equal to absolute value of negative a plus b. Now we are going to recall. Okay, I have not solved it. Okay, look at here. Note, absolute value of negative a plus b is equals to absolute value of negative a minus negative b, which they have something in common, and what they have in common is minus 1. So bring minus 1 outside. When you bring minus 1 outside, you observe that what we have here now is a minus b, So absolute value of -1 in parentheses, and in another parenthesis a minus b. What we'll have here now is absolute value of -1 multiplied by absolute value of a minus b. That will give us absolute value of 1 multiplied by absolute value of a minus b, so it gives us absolute value of a minus b. So that implies that b minus absolute value of b minus a is equal to absolute value of a minus b. Thus, having studied now from our previous example, from our previous class, this thus a minus b here is less than equal to absolute value of a plus b, and the negative of absolute value of a minus absolute value of b is also less than what? A plus b here. So meaning that absolute of the absolute value of a minus absolute value of b is less than equal to absolute value of a plus b, and that is actually the same thing that happens here, since we know that absolute value, since from here, from this a, that absolute value of a minus absolute value of b is less than absolute value of a minus b, and from this b part here we have seen that absolute value of negative absolute value of a plus b, negative absolute value of a plus b, when you bring negative outside, you're going to have absolute value of a minus absolute value of b is going to be less than or equal to a minus b, is going to be less than a minus b. So having studied example number 4, we are now able to say that absolute of absolute value of a minus absolute value of b is less than equal to absolute value of a minus absolute value of b. And I would like you to go back, study this example, because it can be very, very confusing. Example number 5 and example number 4, study them. If you have any question, drop it on the comment section. Do well to like, subscribe and share. I remain on the Timothy. Thank you so very much.